Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Christmas movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
How are we today?
big week this
Big
week,
week.
from what I understand.
Big
Big
week.
week.
Sheesh.
We're in
Weeks
it.
keep on
It
coming.
doesn't get any bigger,
We're in it.
Nope.
right?
We're in it.
Wait till next week.
That's right. I mean, we got Christmas Con coming up this week.
I know. I'm excited
We
about
got a
it.
full slate of episodes.
Yeah.
We got more Hallmark Plus Cherry Lane coming out.
finally.
Every time I keep hearing how great Mistletoe Murders
Yeah,
is.
Sure.
You gotta stop. It's torture at this point.
Yeah.
Gotta stop.
Every time I wince at the fact that we decided to go all the unwrappings, none of the Mistletoe Murders, because we had to make a decision. It was we do the movies.
Big mistake.
And I'll never get that time back, and I've still not seen Mistletoe Murders, which just sounds like something I might be interested in. So
If
you
we're
know.
not careful, it's gonna get spoiled on us.
No kidding.
All this chatter about it.
Yeah,
Oh, you think there's a murder?
probably several. There's
I
S
think
in
so.
there. It's plural.
Murders?
Mistletoe Murders. It's called the
Mistletoe
Mistletoe
Murders?
Murders, right?
They just keep on coming. Like
Aaron?
If there's
weeks.
more,
Is
if
there
there's
more than one murder?
Do you know, Aaron?
I've only seen the first episode. There is a murder there.
Uh-huh.
And then I was just waiting for it to all come out so I could go home and binge it.
Yeah.
I really liked
You
the
get
first
to binge
episode, and
it.
I quickly decided I wasn't doing this week-to-week thing.
I'm not
Well,
doing it.
If there's only one murder, then I am a hard out on Mistletoe Murders because it's called Murders.
Yeah.
It's like that magic pen situation. It wasn't a magic pen.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Apple, pineapple, pin. What was that song from a while ago? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Are you
No.
drunk?
You know what I'm talking about?
6 in the morning,
It's a
Brand.
big week,
You know,
Dan.
what-
I don't know
what
what to
is
tell
it?
As
you.
the only other person laughing in this room, I do know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
what is it?
I can't remember.
say
but
it.
it's something about a
Banana
pineapple
shoe.
apple pen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a real thing.
No.
It's
Yet.
a thing.
Banana
It
phone.
was viral. It was
Okay.
viral. It was viral. Yeah, we got a big week today.
Huge week today.
Big week today.
Yeah,
and
today,
tomorrow,
of all
too.
the weeks, today is
Watch out for
freaking
tomorrow.
crazy.
You know what also is big is Christmas movie magic. It's massive.
Oh, it's yeah.
And you got to get your game, and you got to order it now to make sure that you have it in time for all of your fun Christmas activities. We're almost 2 weeks to the day to Christmas, so you don't want to mess this up, everybody.
No.
Don't mess it
And
up.
if
where
you're
it
coming to
counts.
Christmas Con here in about 4 days,
Yeah.
please come by and say hey and see us. We're going to have some copies of that game there with all of our brand new merch.
That's right.
So come buy a bunch of those because, you know, then you'll have a bunch to give as stocking stuffers.
Maybe
as
we'll
well.
be playing it.
Maybe we'll be playing.
gonna have a
Maybe we
TV
won't.
again?
I don't know.
Probably not.
We have nude merch.
We new merch. We don't have any nude merch. There's an off-white though. It's close. I would
Close.
say
Can we put it on the sign that it's the nude
Nude.
color?
nude color. It's nude.
It's
you want
nude.
You want a nude?
The color
shirt?
is nude. There's nothing that we can do about
There's
it.
nothing we can do.
There's
They
nothing we
call it
can do.
nude.
That's what they called it.
That's
And we
not
just-
us.
No.
We're just
the
relaying that
rules.
message.
We're just-
That's right. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And if you're looking for a new fun holiday tradition as well,
You know, nude.
we do have a children's book out,
Nude
Dano.
holiday tradition.
We do have a children's book out, a book that I think you're really going to enjoy reading to your kids. This
Also,
time
you
of
can buy
year.
this at Christmas Con as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, look
When's
at
it
you
going to be
guys.
Christmas again? It's by Brandon Gray and Daniel Thompson, if you can believe it.
Why?
Two first time, second time authors.
Why'd they write it?
Well, you know, they both have young
Money.
kids.
Oh,
But this is about this is actually
Tradition.
based on my two boys, although I think Brand's two boys would probably agree with the sentiments here. And it's about family and memories and Christmas time, and you should buy a copy for the parent in your life or grandparent in your life or child in your life. I think it works across the board, Brand. Those are the early reviews anyway.
That's right. And like a good, like any good Hallmark movie, it might make you cry.
It might.
It might.
There is a
There
bit
is
of
a
a twist
twist.
in there for a children's book. And even though I had
The
a part
kids
in
killed Dan.
the
That's
kids killed Dan, that's right.
multiple
That's the
murders.
twist.
multiple murders.
I cried
As
reading it to
advertised.
my children the first time, if that helps you at all.
Yeah.
Make a decision. So there's
Yeah.
that.
And I cried when you read it to me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
I
You
sure
sat on my
did.
lap. I
You
read
sure
you the
did.
I
book.
couldn't. I said
That's
too many words.
Too many words.
Too big words.
Two big words.
Too big words. I
When's it
can't.
going to be Christmas again?
When's
This book's actually about Brand. I don't know what to tell you.
It is. It is. Let's dive into today's movie, shall we? Are you guys ready for this?
I
I
am.
love it. Let's do it.
Dance in the Snow is what we're talking about today. a Hallmark mystery movie that premiered on December 5th, 2024. And it went a little something like this. The movie starts off real slow. Literally, a slow ballad plays as we gear up for this Thursday night mystery movie. Suddenly, a girl comes down the stairs, clearly ready to go off to a dance. Her name is Jenny. She's from the block, if you can believe it or not. And her mom's name is Melanie. She is going to be chaperoning the dance to keep an eye on Jenny to make sure that she's doing okay. Jenny has autism and sometimes has a tough time with loud noises and whatnot. And these are things are going okay until things get a little bit too intense with the music. Like this punk rock Christmas song starts playing, and then this fake snow begins to fall. And Jenny has a really hard time with snow. It's one of the things that scares her the most. And so when that begins to fall, she runs outside. Melanie goes, she calms her down, and then she says, hey, it's probably time for us to head on out. Cut to 1 year later, and Jenny is excited to be a senior and is excited to figure out what is next for her life. And she is hopeful that she is going to go to the college that she wants to go to in California. Why California? Maybe it has something to do with the fact there's no snow.
No snow.
Could be.
Maybe that might have something to do with it.
Not a bad idea.
When Melanie finds out the school that she wants to go to, she's shocked and tries to talk to her about it the next day. Jenny's not having it. The next day, Jenny is talking with some friends, and they come up with an idea to create an alternative dance that is inclusive to all kids to make sure that they all feel comfortable at the dance. What she doesn't know is that Melanie is wanting to do the exact same thing, except she wants to just make the dance itself more inclusive by lowering the volume of the music, getting rid of the strobe lights, stuff like that. There is some pushback from the PTA because the dance is so close. That's when hot teacher Daniel comes in and says, "Hey, I'll be the liaison that you've been looking for." And
later than I expected, in all honesty.
He agrees to help and make sure that they can work together to make this happen and come up with a good idea that will make everybody feel good while also still being possible this close to the dance. There's a new boy in town. His name is Will, and Jenny takes a liking to Will, and he agrees to help with the dance. Gotta be honest, none of this would be possible without Will. Will is responsible for bringing in almost all the money because of his parents' Christmas tree farm.
The location.
And is responsible for the location because they have a giant barn that they're not using at all. So shout out Will. Melanie and Daniel have an idea to make the dance more fun for everybody, and it is a silent disco. We've done this before, but you get these headphones, you put them on, and you can have control over your own volume.
Yep.
So you can listen to it as loud or as
Dance
quietly.
if you want to.
That's
You can
exactly
leave
right.
your friends behind.
And, so they bring this to the PTA board and they pitch it, and there's like, this is different. And they're like, that's the point. It's supposed to be something fresh, something new. And they all vote and they say yes. But then it all comes out that both of them are planning a dance. And so they decide to do this crazy thing where they merge the dances. They just say, what if we just do it? And all that good stuff. We got the barn. The barn is it's big fun there. It's the night of the party, and bad news strikes. It begins to snow outside just as they're about to leave. Jenny, as you remember, is afraid of the snow, but Will inspires her to conquer her fear of snow. He goes out into the snow, says, "Hey, come on out, join me," and they have a moment out there, and they hug, and it's good. They head to the party. The party is a smash hit. Melanie agrees to join Daniel in Paris on his sabbatical. Didn't see it coming. And they kiss. And then Will and Jenny join them outside. They also share a kiss, and they all stare at the snow together. And that, my friends, was a dance in the snow.
We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down here on
Deck
the Hallmark.
Hi, everybody. I took a sip way too late. took a sip way too late, and I realized it, and then
Yeah, it was too late.
started coming
But
out
at
of
that
my
point,
mouth.
it's too late. Even if you realize it at that point, it's too late.
Nothing you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a dance in the show, shall we?
A
we
show,
have
shall
four,
we?
we have 4 segments
Big show this
to
day.
That's right.
to
Pool hall.
dance out in the snow during, and so let's do this. Let's start with the hot take.
I love
Share our
it.
thoughts
Okay,
on this
fine.
movie.
All right,
I would
if you say
suggest we
so.
don't hold back. Brian, what did you think about?
It's just a suggestion, Bry. So you do.
Okay.
If you want to hold back, you go
I
for
can't?
it. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can.
There's
Yeah.
no rules
Yeah,
today.
No rules. A dance in the snow. What do you think?
All right. I kind of liked it. I feel like it ended really strong for me. A teeny tiny little asterisk next to the immediate decision to move to Paris real quick. That was
Well, not
that-
move, but to go to Paris for an
visit
extended
Paris.
amount of time. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Of
So
course.
that aside, I really like the ending. I think it came together really nicely for me. The accommodations I feel like could have been maybe dealt with sooner than her senior year. I feel like the stuff would have come up a little sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 2 major takeaways for me were the first thing is, should we buy a magical barn? Because that barn, holy cow.
Yeah.
Great barn.
wouldn't
I don't
wanna
think it's
leave
the
that
first time
barn.
we've seen it in a Hallmark movie.
No,
either.
but for some reason, the barn just did it for me. This one, like
Yeah.
that barn looked
Yeah.
real nice. And also, they should have moved to California years ago, and this wouldn't even be an issue.
That's
I
right.
don't think.
Yes. Yeah.
They should not be in a cold climate where it snows.
Regularly.
Yeah, multiple times in over a couple days span. And Jenny's character, like, she was something that stood out to me immediately. She was so decisive. And I know, like, a lot of the autism factor of it is a lot of her, a lot of what drove this movie and her decisions and her behavior. But her decisiveness made me insecure, like, about my ability to make decisions. Like, that was something that stood out in her character that was just so, like, it was so good, but also
You're
I
like,
was
this senior in high school really seems to have her stuff together.
yeah, like I couldn't.
What am I doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing? I need a little bit of that in my life, a little more decisiveness, I think. But yeah, I liked it. I think they closed it out really nicely too.
I agree with all of the complaints about this movie. I think are more than fair. The fact that they should have just lived in a warmer climate to begin with. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All of that more than valid. Pushing all that aside, because again, Hallmark, here we are. I think this movie is pretty strong, and I think how strong this movie is fully dependent. Not on the, I guess you would say, primary love story, but for me, it's the story of Jenny and Will. When Jenny and Will are together and they're working on the dance together. I thought not the proposal, but the dance,
The promposal.
promposal, if you will,
I will.
incorporating his love of trains
Yeah.
into that, I thought was fantastic, and I thought those two were just really great together. And I thought that anytime they were on screen, working on the dance, having conversations with each other, continuing to help each other grow and whatnot, I thought it was great. I thought that the love story between the teacher and the mom was fine, but I just kind of kept waiting for us to get back to the weirdly enough, the party planning of it all. Weirdly enough was the thing. I liked those two on screen together, and I felt like anytime they were doing their thing, that was where this movie was shining. So yeah, overall, I think it was a relatively strong movie, but yeah, there's definitely some general plot problems with location and whatnot that you just think they would have dealt with earlier in life. But alas, here we are. We're dancing in the snow.
Yeah, it's going to end up middle of the pack for me. I don't know what I need to say that hasn't been said. There's some glaring plot holes here that are just tough to overcome from a standpoint of if you're a parent with a kid that has a very specific set of needs and accommodations, you would typically be handling those before they're 18 years old. And I know that there's a lot going on and a dance isn't the number one priority for your kid, but that between the snow and living where you live and the dance your senior year, it's hard to clear those hurdles logically. But the movie's a sweet movie. I love the message of inclusivity and the idea that if something is accessible for some, accessibility helps everyone. It's not an either or. The people that go, well, if we make it more accessible, that changes how we've always done it. Well, yeah, but that doesn't make it worse. It makes it equal. It makes it like something that everyone can be involved in. I think that's a great message, and I'm glad that they had that message. I agree that the two kids, Will and what's her name? I can't believe I forgot.
Jenny.
Will and Jenny. like that's a really fun storyline. There's some very sweet moments in this movie, but it is a dueling dance party planning movie. And the only way for me to not hate that is if it's an all-out farce comedy. So that's the other big issue is that they're planning 2 dances at once, and there should be hijinks galore. But instead, it's a very serious movie where they're both lying to the other one. And that was tough for me. I couldn't. So there were some big hurdles I couldn't clear here. But the stuff that worked for me worked really, really well. It just was few and far between. Like the message is great. A couple of scenes are really sweet. But the stuff that's big and glaring in this movie, it's tough to get past that. So,
It's time for all the feels. Where we're talking about what this movie gave us feels. Brian.
Yeah, Jenny had some phenomenal sweaters in this movie.
Sure did.
Standout sweaters, so really nice. But the big feels for me was when was the kids planning their own dance, and the way that they're doing it is incorporating all the things that they want to have at the dance. I'm like, that is awesome. Like a train at a dance makes no sense, but they're going to do it. That's what they want. Yeah. And so I kind of wish we got more of those little things, those little touches.
More dance planning. I think no one's surprised by this take.
A little bit more dance planning. I guess you could say it that way. All the little details that they're incorporating, all the fun stuff they're putting in the dance. So cool. And I'm glad that was a tiny little part. Could use a little more of it, but I'm glad it was a little bit of a part of this movie.
Shout out to planning.
Shout out. Should come as no surprise that I love a good train and I love a good Christmas village. So this whole train going around the village was already dope. Like it came on screen and I was like, this is amazing. But then my God, like she's like, hey, are you interested in taking me to the dance or whatever? She said, and he turns on the train, and she's like, "Okay, I guess we're doing train. I guess we're doing trains now.
It's train time.
I guess we're doing train that time. It's that time." And then he stops it and pulls out the piece of paper out of the train, and he's asking her out to dance. I loved that moment, and it was one of the most like heartwarming, genuine, sweet things that we've seen this season. Really liked this moment, and I also really like Model Train. So it's a double whammy for Brand.
Yeah.
Dano?
Shout out to Brand's Fields, because those are mine. I mean, I don't care about model trains at all. I want to be very clear.
Anti-train, huh?
Brand is on his own there. I would just say train neutral. I don't care one way or the other. Sure. That doesn't. But this will you go to the dance with me scene, one of my favorite scenes of the holiday season. A phenomenal scene. So great, so sweet, so wonderful. Played perfectly by both actors.
Do you want to share what you found out about the actor of Will?
I was going to wait till my what the Hallmark.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's fair. That's fair. And that's what we call teasing the business, folks. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back.
If you were going to turn it off now that you heard our hot takes and all the feels, well, now you got something to do around.
Wait.
That's right.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna get to the wait what, and we're gonna get to Dan's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh boy.
Amazing what the Hallmark.
Stop. Now you've oversold it.
Deck the Hallmark. Did I? Well, hello, everybody. We're having a good time today. We're talking about A Dance in the Snow. Let's break it down with our Wait What. Just where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? While we were watching it. Brian Guy, what you got?
Yeah, a big one is the fact that the school hasn't really done any accommodating up until this point. And so I just feel like maybe they should have done a little bit of accommodating before this.
All of them, because I don't know if you know this, it's legal. It's actually
part of the law.
It's part of the law. It's not like a thing where the school can be like, should we do this?
Yeah.
It's actually required by the law. That's how that works.
They're getting around to it.
Yeah, they're going to get
it. It looks like they're getting there. The high school dance on private just seems it just seems like a liability nightmare. Like it just they were so anti-change for their dance on their own property, and then on a whim just. Yeah, no problem.
Well, the good news is no one ever like sneaks in alcohol to a high school party.
Dance.
Right. It's always above board, and nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and know what else never happens is the teachers making out with parents.
Yeah,
that doesn't
no
happen.
risk of that happening.
No,
it's fine.
A little inappropriate.
Right outside the front door.
Right there. Setting an example. Oh, this is what we're doing? Okay, everybody.
Everybody.
The Hawkins family giving each kid a tree. 7 trees. If they're $50, Dan.
That's $350. I paid almost $150 for my tree this year.
I'm saying 50 is
because of the hurricane.
Minimum is So we're
They're
talking.
probably paying closer to over 1,000
Yes,
for that.
big bucks.
Big
That's
bucks.
big bucks.
All right, Hawkins, I
Yeah.
see you. I see you, Hawkins family.
But it really does make them look pretty good in the community.
It does.
So-
Yeah.
When the snow started, the mom, they didn't show it. Maybe she did it. She didn't call or text her daughter. Like
Nothing.
not an effort to reach out. She's just like, I gotta go. It's not.
Can we? Like,
let's bang. Let's
This
park here
mom
for a
is
minute.
is a great mom. She's amazing, wonderful. Is
Yeah.
learning. You have to learn how to parent all over again every time your kid reaches a new stage of maturity. You just do. And this mom's doing an amazing job. I just think that the snow thing, the movie's called A Dance in the Snow. The snow thing's a big part of it. This kid is
I get
18
it.
years. You got it?
Yep.
You clock
I
it?
got it.
This kid's 18 years old. If you have a kid that has any of these eccentricities or, is neurodivergent or has something that is a huge thing in their life, like it becomes a big part of your life as a parent because you'll do anything to keep them from it. And so if you live in a place that I know sometimes snow pops up out of nowhere. I'm not from the north. Sometimes the snow pops up
a
out of
little
nowhere.
squabble there.
A little here and there. But
Squall.
if you're this kid's parent and you're as good a mom as this mom is, you're going to be checking the weather pretty religiously. I would say daily. I would be checking it. I would be checking the hourly, probably twice a day. And the idea that not only does this snowstorm start and she doesn't text anyone, but the fact that she knew it was a possibility. Like she should know it's a like, look, it's a 30% chance we're going to get some snow today. You probably would tell your kid not to go outside.
Well, I think this storm came out of nowhere.
It's no way.
All right, you keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that's
good.
it. Okay,
Perfect.
great. Listen, Dan is the educator among us. He spent a lot of time in the classroom, but I spent some time there
You
myself.
dabble.
I love that.
I dabbled in education, and I think that
You
is
just know something
that's
about
more
it.
more
fair.
than fair.
Yeah.
I dabbled in education. And I occasionally would read from a book. And some might argue that I read from the greatest book of all time, the Bible. And do you want to know how many times I read from the Bible and had the kids cheer for me? 0 times. This guy's up there reading poetry that he didn't write, and these kids are all like, "Yeah, let's go." And I'm just saying,
And it's times twice.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah.
I was like, that is just the best. Must be the nice. Just the
It
best
must be the
feeling.
nice.
Best feeling.
Yeah.
Best feeling.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's reading Robert Frost, and they are applauding like everyone in the theater did at the end of Wicked last week when I saw
They're
it.
just stroking the ego. They
Like,
know
that
they're
was
great.
un-
at
don't
what's on
unbelievable.
it.
don't mind me. I'm just reading the words of Jesus.
Yeah, it's two roads diverged in a wood, guys. Like it's not like it's something you've never heard before.
Unbelievable. Amazing.
Yeah. All right.
Amazing.
All right, Frost. Is Frost here?
And I would
No?
like for you guys to start cheering after
Bobby,
this.
went the wrong
Bobby
way.
F? He's not around.
My synopses, I would like for you guys to start cheering at the end.
That's not
Can
happening.
do that.
Okay.
Oh.
If it's a good one, I'll cheer.
I have a line that I gave the biggest eye roll to, and
Ugh.
so maybe it's time of the year. We've seen a lot of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we're
Deep into it.
Yeah.
The teacher walks in and is like, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help you. I'll be your liaison, all this stuff." And afterwards, they're walking on the hallway, and she's like, "Okay, I'm just going to do this, and then I'll come to you, and you can give it the A-OK." And he's like, "I don't want to just be a token stamp of approval. I don't even own a stamp." All right, guy. All right, guy.
It's one of the worst lines of dialogue.
Glad we relived that.
It does make sense, but it's a terrible line of dialogue. Like, I told Brand, in October 17th, we're all juiced up on Christmas spirit 2 weeks before Halloween at the marathon. that floats by and nobody mentions it but me. Like everybody else is like, "Oh, who cares? It's
I
Christmas."
also
But
think-
we're like 80 movies deep
Yeah.
here. It's mid-December. You can't just toss out that trash and expect us not to notice immediately.
But it's also a movie dependent line. Like they say that line in Hall at the Holly, and we're laughing. Like
Yes,
this
yes.
is hilarious.
That's
Yes.
true.
This is
The
one of those
character,
like
yeah.
that.
I don't even own a stamp.
I don't even
Yeah.
own a stamp.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear
Oh.
him say it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was great. Something happened that blew my mind.
Why doesn't Ned own a stamp? He's got to.
He's got
definitely-
everybody
he's
owns
got
a
a
stamp.
He owns a lot of stamp.
Come on,
Um,
Come on, Ned.
They start playing.
You think you don't own a stamp? Okay, thanks, Ned.
Nice try, Ned.
Nice try. They start playing. I think it's like Jingle Bells on the piano. It's just like or Deck the Halls. I think it's Deck the Halls. And suddenly they cut to Jenny humming the song on her bed, and they couldn't do her the favor
Yeah.
of syncing that up. It was like. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
Just help them out. Like you could have just put in the work. It would have been really
Would've been
cool.
really
We would have been like, that's fun. I like that. But no, they didn't need to sync it up. And then this one of my favorite ones is one of the girls that's helping out with the planning of the party comes up and is like, I got good news and I got bad news.
Yeah,
Good
this
news,
is a classic.
Good news is I got us a
Foosball table.
foosball table
Yeah.
with
Ooh,
some
that's
of the
good.
money.
That's cool.
Bad news is we don't have a video.
Oh.
The bad news is as bad as it gets.
The
Yeah.
worst news.
In
Yeah.
regards
The foosball
to
table isn't good
Yeah.
news if you don't have a venue.
That's
Where's
exactly
the
right.
foosball table going to
The
go?
bad news is the good news is now also bad news because we have nowhere to put
Worst
it.
news, we have to take the foosball table back.
Yeah,
Can you guys help me carry this foosball table?
That's
That's,
right.
that
Yeah.
made me laugh so hard. Dana,
This movie is pitching the occupation of teacher is something that it is fundamentally not. It's not. You get applause for reading out of a book as a teacher. Never. He's a high school teacher that's getting a sabbatical, a paid sabbatical to Paris. Guys, this movie forgot for a second it wasn't in Canada. You can't. The American high school teacher is not taking Parisian sabbaticals on the state's dime. That is fundamentally insane. Listen, I wish it were true.
We'd still be teaching.
It would be a better place if this was true. You teach and then you don't even get really a pension hardly anymore. Like the idea that you teach and you're like, should I use my skip? Can I use my skip now? Like what are we doing, gang? This is, guys, if you're watching, go, if you want to be a teacher, go be one. We need good teachers, but also it ain't this. This
Don't
is
do
not
it for the sabbatical.
No, it's not sabbatical. You're not going to get roaring applause for reading out of a book. That's crazy town. Erica Sarah, our leading lady in this movie, who does a wonderful job, needs a lozenge. It is very clear that upon filming this movie, she did not have a voice. And we have to do a job where we need a voice. And I've been there numerous times. And I hated it. My heart broke for her. But there are some scenes in this movie where you can hardly hear her. She is straining her voice, and it is just a tough break because you can't wait to film these movies. You got to film them in the time that you have. So that sucked. I hated that for her. There's no heat in this barn, and it's a snowstorm outside. There's no heat in this barn.
Yeah.
The ceilings are 30 feet high. It's freezing in there, and everyone is acting like it is fine. It might be colder in the barn than outside. I don't know how that works with those old barns, but I'm telling you it's cold, and nobody minds. Nobody cares. It's totally fine.
this might become that horror movie that Patrick was
That's
telling
right.
us about.
Yeah.
Where they all get
lost in the barn.
lost in the
In the
barn.
cabin. Two more real quick, then I'll be done. They take the Possibility Center, I believe is what it's called that she runs, the Possibility Center. They take all these like teenage children to this Christmas tree farm. And when you're a chaperone of high school kids, you don't have to actually keep your eye on them all the time. Actually, like high school kids are pretty good about like if you take them somewhere, you can give them a little bit of leeway, but you cannot go on a Christmas tree date. The two of the chaperones, they get to the thing where they're going to have all of these high school children there all day. And they're like, hey, I don't have a tree for my house yet. Should we go? And then they spend the next 15 minutes of movie time. So probably hours walking the lot, not a child in sight. Like you can't just leave kids unattended for that long. You got to check in at least, guys. I mean, come on. And then lastly, Brian mentioned this. These accommodations should have been put in a long time ago. That's the job of the state. That's the job of the education department, the public school. Like that's their job. But if you have a kid that needs accommodations, you're probably nodding or clapping right now. Hopefully you're clapping. I'm 20 years teaching without some clapping, so I'd love.
Maybe
love
you
it.
should read something.
Yeah,
Maybe
I should
then
read
people
something.
would cheer.
But in the pitch for this woman does not pitch, we need a new dance with a silent disco. Here's what she says. She says, I would love to have a dance where the songs are at a quieter volume. There are no strobe lights and there is no snow machine. And the head of this dance committee, whose job it is to make these accommodations, goes, lady, this is 9 days out. We just don't have time for these accommodations. Those 3 accommodations take 30 seconds max. Flip a switch, turn down a knob, flip another switch. You've now accommodated everyone for the dance. Flip a switch, turn down a knob, flip another switch. All you have to do to turn the music down and the strobe lights off and the snow machine off are a knob and 2 switches. Guys, it is
if
not...
anything, it actually saves time because you don't have to set those things up. So the strobe and the snow machine are always set up in the gym.
I got 9 days. You expect me to turn down music, strobe lights, and a snow machine in 9 days? I'm only human.
I think they got that snow on a timer though.
Like,
so it's a little more
there's a timer involved. Maybe
complicated.
there's
You
an
gotta do
app.
math. You got to do a whole
Yeah,
thing.
9 days. I stand corrected. That's all I got.
It's time for What the Hallmark is, where you wonder what could have been. Maybe have get some clarity. Any questions that we still have? What are we still wondering about? That's what this segment's for. Brian, what are you still pondering in your heart of hearts?
Yeah, at one point, she was in a restaurant for a little Parisian date.
That's
with,
right.
Mr. Thompson, Daniel. Her friend shut down her whole restaurant for 2 people to serve
Talk
them
about
around
that.
the
May be a
holiday.
bigger loss than the trees.
Holy, yeah.
Yeah.
Around the
Yeah.
holidays,
Around the holidays.
a small place like
That's
that.
taking a bath. You don't recover. Food. The margins are bad in food.
You're throwing out a lot of stuff there too. After that, so is that what happened? Like that was very confusing. It looked like the whole place was shut down just for them.
I will say this: the tree. That is a great point. The tree thing makes me think of another point. Is if you're anywhere in the southeast,
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
go. If you're an artificial tree boy like Brand, now that he's lost his Christmas spirit, is.
Well,
Can you do me a favor,
Environment.
and unless you're allergic, go buy a real tree anyway? The hurricane decimated Christmas tree farms, and they need this. They need it for not only the environment, but for their farm and also for their well-being. If you're on the fence about buying a tree and you live in the Southeast where Hurricane Helene came through, go pay the exorbitant price. My tree went up 50% this year, and I was happy to pay it. If you can afford it, go help these folks out because they're in desperate need of selling whatever remaining stock that they have. So go do that. There's my PSA, and it has nothing to do with what the Hallmark. I figured I'd throw it in there.
Great job, Dan.
yeah,
You're welcome.
very nice.
Brand new.
That gets applause.
Yeah,
I
of
think.
course it does. Brand, you heartless Grinch.
Yes.
Do you have a What the Hallmark?
Well, I do. I have one. This seems like this party, whatever the dance is, was a big success.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Cold Barn
smash
Hall.
hit.
Yeah.
Cold
Freezing.
Barn, silent disco. Is this now the new norm for this school? Or was this just a one-off, because sometimes what happens is you have a parent that is proactive about putting in some changes, and then that child leaves.
Correct.
And then everything goes back to the way it used to be.
It's a good one, Brandon.
because the rest of the PTA is like, that's just
Yeah.
easier. So what are they going to do about it? Is this going to kind of become the thing that we're doing, or are they going to go back to the way things were?
I think
Dan?
the hope there is that the accommodations and the dance changes based upon the school population, which is very hard. Sometimes people don't realize that when they say, we've always done it this way and it's important to me, what they're really saying is that my comfort and routine is more important than everyone having access. But I would hope that the school would keep adapting. My guess is probably won't.
Right.
My What the Hallmark is purely about one Dorian Giordano, the actor that plays Will in A Dance in the Snow. Dorian Giordano, I don't know much about, but I looked the kid up.
We
and
loved him.
It turns out he's great in this movie. Brand said the favorite character.
He is
in the
my
movie.
favorite character in the movie.
Turns out, unless IMDb is lying to me, that Dorian Giordano is a world champion BMX biker.
Whoa.
World
He
champion.
looks like it too with that cool hair.
He's a world champ, not a Canadian, not an international, world champion BMX biker who also dabbles in dirt biking as well. So this guy, it is winning buckles, medals, trophies. I don't know what they give out in BMX. I thought
Medals,
it
I
was a rodeo.
believe.
Yeah,
Tires.
he's winning trophies. He's winning. He's a world champion, guys. And then he pops over and gives this performance. I mean, come on.
Great.
What are the rest of us doing with our lives? Like,
Doran, if you're listening, just
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah,
Let
big
us
time.
know. I would love
Unbelievable.
to see your world champion winning.
Yeah.
What is it? Run? I guess it would be a run.
I don't know.
Performance.
Trick.
Performance. There it is. Trick. Ride. Run. Let's go with run. Run. Final answer.
Ride.
Right, there you go.
Maybe a
Ride.
ride.
Maybe a ride. Could be a ride. They are on bikes.
Is today Tuesday?
Yeah.
Today's Tuesday. It's time for Double Decker of the Week. It's where we Double Decker of the Week.
Today's double decker. You can be a double decker
is
by going to
it?
BrambleJamPlus.com and signing up for the double decker tier or higher. These folks are our faves. Just being honest. Today's double decker of the week is Kristen Jambardino.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah,
Kristen
it is.
Jambardino.
That's right. Yeah,
That's a
Her
Kristen.
fastologist.
Yes, you're right.
That's right.
A lot of research. So she,
Maybe
looking-
Yambardino. Silent
Yeah,
J.
it might
They're
be.
Yambardino.
I wonder if she's in the yam business. I'm sure Brian will be able to tell us.
Get to the
Brian, you
bottom
did
of
a
that.
deep
She might
dive
be. Yeah.
into all of the double deckers
Yep.
using Google Plus, not that Google Plus.
Not that
Tell
one.
everybody what you learned.
Yeah, Kristen, a creative type. If you
Okay.
didn't know it
Sure.
about her, she
Yeah.
she's a working professional, but in her free time on the side, she's trying to get a little side hustle going and lean into her artistic abilities. And so she started doing portraits of people on the street, just doing like
Did you
little
get their
drawings.
permission, or is it just like she just
Yeah,
picked
no,
somebody
she'll
out?
set up shop and you can
Okay.
sit down for a drawing.
I've
Got it.
seen those
So-
people.
Yeah, it's a cool little service, and working right now off tips, but working on some deals with other people for using these images and what have
Sure.
you. But,
What separates her from the pack?
well, her drawings really emphasize something about the subject that others don't, and so
Okay.
she really focuses on like their standout negative qualities and
She
characteristics.
focuses on the things that are negative about their appearance.
Sure, like or things you might be like insecure about. She can really hone in on
I feel
that.
like that's already a thing though. Like I've seen these sketch
Yeah.
artists that
Really?
Yeah, that's a thing. It's
They
a
sort-
funny thing
Sounds
that you
mean.
Yeah,
Sounds mean.
no, but you sign up for it.
yeah,
sign
you know
up
what
for
you're
it.
in
Yeah,
for.
you know, there's a specific type of thing that it's called, but it's a thing. But anyway,
Oh,
it sounds like
hers a little
sure, I'm
more
sure it's different.
original. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's it called?
it's called portraits.
Por-
This is a thing she's hoping.
Portraits.
And
Yeah.
so she's just kind of hoping to get it going and really emphasize, bring out
So
these
you think
insecurities
she's
to the
going to be on the
forefront.
street
Yep.
and it's going to say portraits and people are going to know about it and go, hey, paint me and all the bad stuff.
I think they'll figure it out. I think that a lot of people initially won't know what they're in for.
That's right.
And then
when
they'll
she painted
see-
you, for instance, what did she
yeah.
focus
Oh man,
on?
my head is basically in. You cannot see it.
It's like the after and Men in Black,
minuscule.
and that's-
yeah, pretty much shrunk way down. And so glasses are still gigantic on
yeah.
that.
I would
tiny
actually
head.
really like to get that.
Do you have a copy of that?
That's
put it in
been
my wallet?
destroyed.
Yeah.
No,
I'd
no,
love
we
a
know.
wallet size of
I'm
that.
sure she has the original, and so yeah, a lot of this. The cool thing about
Hold
it,
on,
I
so
think-
she gives you a copy of it, and she
Yeah,
keeps
it's
the
like a
original?
character artist. She
Yeah,
just come out. She didn't give you the original. Wait a minute.
She gets she has like a digital copy that she keeps, and
And
you
she
get
gives
a
you
printing.
a print,
Right.
original.
And those the digital stuff is like that's the thing where she's working on like government contracts. Like, hey, I have these
She
Well,
thinks
this
the
is-
government's the future for this.
Well, this is where it could be kind of like eliminate some of this government inefficiency, where it's like, okay, we have
this is gonna
people's
do it?
images.
For portraits?
Yeah, I mean, she's just got images and things about people that might. Make
So
it a
she's
little
gonna go
easier.
into Congress or something and draw pictures of them, and that's gonna help.
Well, she'll just submit. She'll say, "Hey, I got all these images if you want them for what licenses or applications or what have you." So I don't know. She's just really looking at all avenues here.
Let's look at some other avenues.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
from us to you, Kristen. Maybe
Kristen, who's on the
Another
board of a nonprofit
Yeah.
and does a lot of good work, but on the side drawing people at their worst.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic.
Her true colors really come.
Yeah,
through
they
here.
really do.
she but in her defense, she does want it to be mainly for the government.
For the government,
That's right.
inefficiency.
So, yeah.
just to
that's
help out.
Yeah.
All right, we did it, everybody. Congratulations to us. It's a big week, everybody.
Big
so we'll be
week.
back tomorrow with another one. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a
Merry
Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to BrambleJamPlus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.